Welcome back to another episode of What the Heck Next. Today I have a guest who I've known for 10 years. We met on the set of The Real Husbands of Hollywood with Kevin Hart and Nick Cannon and all their friends. And we've stayed friends and worked together a couple of times and managed to have a really good time. He's a West Coast guy. He grew up in Crenshaw and San Diego, went to college at San Diego City College. He got into the Directors Guild in 1996. Remember, I'm in the DGA too. And he's a first assistant director. He's great at his job, and I love being around him. We have such a good time when we work together. He's worked on shows like Chuck and Snowfall, Collateral, Alley, and many more. And I can't wait for him to tell you about what he's up to, what he thinks of what's going on in Hollywood, and what he's got going on next. Life has a way of changing our plans, the ones we never planned to change. And Wayne Witherspoon, my guest, he rolls with it and he doesn't stop. Let's meet my friend Wayne Witherspoon. Welcome back to another episode of What the Heck Next. You know me, Carrie Morrow, your host of your weekly podcast. Today I have an adorable friend of mine who I've known for 10 years. We met on the set of The Real Husbands of Hollywood with Kevin Hart and all of his buddies, and that was really fun. And we did another show together that was really tough, and some of them are, and some of them always have fun in them. And he and I always have a good time together. We go way back over 10 years, and it's been a journey. And I love watching how much he works, how much he's grown. He's in the Directors Guild for almost as long as me. And he's going to tell you how he got to Hollywood, how he started, what he's up to, and what he thinks about what the heck next is going on in Hollywood. Hi, Wayne Witherspoon. Welcome to my little show.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
I'm so happy to have you, and I'm so grateful you agreed to come on. People always ask me, how did you get started? Well, I was a stand-up comedian, but you have a more conventional beginning. So how did you get here?
I started off at Paramount Studios. I started off as a page. This was 1990. I was with little polyester suits. I did tours. I was a seating person for different shows like Arsenio. Family Ties. That's how far back I go. In July of 1990, I was working at this commercial house also called Praxis Filmworks. A buddy of mine got me in there. I was a PA. Then I was able to get the job at Paramount. I remember going in and talking to HR, and they were offering me the job. So this is my first job in Hollywood. I'm thinking, wow, they're just gonna, there's gonna be some money. And I remember the lady said, yeah, exactly. She said, "Oh yeah, you're making $5 an hour." And I was like, wow. Then she said, "Oh no, my fault, my fault." Then she said, "You're making $5.25 an hour." And I'm like, "That's it?" And then I asked her about, what about benefits? And she chuckled and said, "Benefits? You'll be lucky to get 20 hours a week." I was like, damn. At that
Welcome to
point,
Hollywood.
I had a kid, an apartment, so I'm thinking, this is not a whole lot of money. But I took it because I knew I needed to get in. So once I got in, from there on, I just kind of figured my way around. I ended up moving from there to the mailroom. And in the mailroom, I did what they call were specials. And basically that's the mail person who does these runs for different production companies or different execs. So you go straight to them as opposed to dropping their mail off. They call in a special, you come pick the special up. I ended up meeting Larry Albuquerque, who was the head of feature production at the time. I remember one day I came in and seen this um I seen this plaque on Larry's wall, and I said, "What is that?" And he was like, "Oh, that's my DGA award." And I was like, "DGA?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he starts telling me about the DGA. Just so happens, a month later, I took a course at UCLA called The Art of of the assistant director, taught by Jerry Ziesmer, first AD, Apocalypse Now, Jerry Maguire. He asked, does anybody want to be an AD? I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like, you know what? I'll try it. Jerry gave everybody a telephone number. You called, you made an appointment. I went over and I brought what I thought was my resume that was going to knock Hollywood down. And he literally took my resume and said, no one's going to hire you with this shit. And I was like, damn. But
Gee.
he said, you know what? I'm going to help you out. What he did is he ended up redoing my resume and said that if anybody wants to ask a question, have them call me. So I ended up hanging out with Jerry, learning a few things. And then my first major motion picture was Beverly Hills Cop 3, which
Wow.
was, wow, 32 years ago. I was a PA of Beverly Hills Cop 3, 83. So I started off in the office, but I told Marty Hornstein, who was the UPM executive producer at the time, that I wanted to go to set. I'd go in, at least once or twice a week, I'd say, hey, Marty, I still want to go to set. And he'd like, get the hell out of my office. So finally, he set me up with the ADs. I ended up getting on that show, and it was my first major motion picture. And from there, I just kept bouncing around. I did mostly features. And then I finally got into TV around 2005. I did this TV show called Chuck. I was in television for a while.
Is that path where you get PA days to get into the DGA? I didn't get in that way.
It's weird because I was one of the first classes, or maybe just some of the first people that were able to get in through PA days. And that's what I go to third area. So what ended up happening for me is I ended up doing 600 PA days. I had to then go in third area. And in doing third area, I had to do like 75 days of um, low budget or out of town work.
Right.
And I had to do 75 days of commercial work.
It was all paper. We had to make those big
Yeah,
spurts. Those
exactly. Yeah. But you did have to turn in the paper call sheets. Exactly.
the stubs,
Production
the call
reports,
sheet, production report,
stubs.
the deal
Right.
memo, the whole thing.
Right. Exactly. I was one of the first people to have to do that because Marty actually gave me my first DGA job. It was one day, and it was on Letters from a Killer. What ended up happening is that he just yelled it out. Said, "I'm giving Wayne Witherspoon a DGA day," and they paid me DGA wages for that one day. And then after when I decided to get in, it changed. You had to go through turning in the paperwork. At one time, I believe you could just get a letter from
I got in that way.
you get a letter from a producer,
I
you
did
know.
Don't Be a Menace to South Central while
"Oh,
drinking your
get
Deuce
out of
in the
here."
Hood in '93.
Uh-huh.
I was the accountant on the show, and Brett Ratner was the director,
Okay.
and he was non-DGA, and he quit, like, a week before we started shooting to go do money talks, and,
Oh, wow.
they brought in Paris Barkley, and
Okay.
Paris Barkley was DGA, and they looked at me and they go, "We need a DGA UPM, you." And I was like, "Me what?" And they were like, "You're in the DGA." And I was like, "I am?" And they were like, "Yeah, you're
Oh,
in.
wow.
We'll send a letter." And I'm telling you, Wayne, I did nothing. It did boom, I was in. I had to
Yeah.
put all the paperwork in for the what do you call area QL
Right,
thing,
right. The
but that was
QL and
18 years later. 18 years after I got in '93. My QL was in 2010. That's how long
it took you to be able to work in town?
to get
Wow.
all the days for the QL list. That I had to
Right.
prove. Prior to that, man, I was in. That was it. Boom, you're in
Right,
the
yeah. It
right.
didn't take me long, but once I got in, most of my DJ friends wouldn't hire me as a PA anymore. I I'm in the DGA. So, I mean, and it's a lot of the same work as a PI. The difference is the DJ money.
Yes,
There's a there is a difference. I remember a guy I used to work with, David Householder, who is he's an executive producer now, but he was a first. And he used to always say, "Spoon, you can't wait till you get this DJ money, man. It's something totally different." When I
it's
first got my first DJ check, I was like, "Oh, he was correct." Yeah.
right. There's that listen, and you worked as an AD, like, to make our living as a DGA person, we'll talk about this moment, like, you can't compare it. I have a dear friend, he finally, after all these years, got in the DGA, paid his money th this year, I think he paid, like, $13,000 or
Yeah, that's the other thing. It only cost me 3 grand to get in.
right, exactly. Well,
3,500, something
they
like that.
paid for me, so I didn't ever pay, but he
Wow.
paid, and he got in the DGA, and he never worked again DGA, and he's being offered these verticals, these $150,000 movies,
Right.
and he calls himself the ghost AD because he can't be on any paperwork. So he's in the
Right, right,
DGA, and the
right,
only
right,
work
right,
he's
right.
getting are these $300 a day jobs, which is what we were being paid in the '90s.
You're
And,
right.
he's working $300, $400 a day as an AD on these Chinese verticals. They're
Chinese
non
verticals, okay.
they're called verticals, and they're the biggest thing in Los Angeles right now. They have productions running around LA, except they're all non-union, everything. SAG just signed an agreement with them, a micro agreement because their whole budget is only 150 to $250,000,
Excuse
and
me,
there's
so sorry.
no DGA, and and my friend paid all this money, and he cannot find a DGA job in a whole year.
Oh, that really sucks.
It's a different world. But you worked and you and I met in Husbands. You remember that show? I think that's
Yeah.
where we met.
Hey, look, that's what I am on Real Husbands of Hollywood.
That oh, there you go.
Yeah, I've got the shirt
I
on.
got a, jacket or a vest. I got a vest. Season
Season
5.
5, right, okay. Oh, right, the last
I was
season.
the last year.
Yes.
He's our
Oh,
friend
yeah,
Carl.
yeah, Carl.
Bye bye,
Yeah,
Carl.
I talked to Carl. I think I talked to Carl, like, a month or 2 before he passed. Carl Craig, yeah,
Yeah. This I worked with him. Oh my gosh.
yeah,
We had
Ralph Farquhar. Yeah,
yeah,
Chris
yeah.
Spencer,
So Chris Spencer and I go way back because we did Don't Be a Menace together. Chris Spencer,
Right, okay,
how I
right.
met and who brought me in to Husbands because we did Don't Be a Menace and How to Be a Player together. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
oh, yeah.
I didn't know
I
you
was
guys
the
yeah.
producer on both of those movies. I've explained to people that it was more than work because it was our life and it was our friendships, and they're kind of eternal. Like, I could pick up the phone with you and meet and talk, and like it was we worked together last week or something. It's
Yeah, well, I mean, just think about
precious.
it. You when you're on a job, you're with the people you work with 13 hours a day. So, literally, you could be spending 16 hours a day with those people or at least at the job as opposed to being at home.
And weekends when we're going, "This actor is sick and you have to change the schedule," and when I would call and say, "The director wants to shoot this first instead of this,"
Right.
or "The
Yeah,
location
right,
fell out," or "The
exactly.
rain is coming." There's a million things, and we are connected. I have a funny expression that when I would work, I would say to my friends, "I'm really busy, I'll call you back in June,"
Right,
because
because it really can be like that because you won't see people for a while. Working in this business, as much as it is as fun as it is, and as much as I love working in this business, it can take a toll on you. And when I became an AD, I started working less, but making a lot more. So if I was working 10 months out of the year, I could work half of that and make double to triple what I was making as a PA. Back when we did 22 episodes, you would do like 9 months, then you're off for 3, and then you come back and do the show again. Now like 10, 8,
eight.
Yeah, because
Yep.
my this last show I did was only 8 episodes. So, now you're working 3 or 4 months, but if you get 2 or 3 of those, kinda works out.
So what are you doing with what you think about what's going on now? So there is a big difference. Quantity, quality.
For me at this point, you kinda work with the people you get along with. And it sucks when you work with somebody and it doesn't work out. So for me, I'm older. At some point, my phone would just stop ringing, and then
But do
at
you
that
think
point,
it's
you've
because
got
of that? I don't think it's because of that. I think it's because I don't I'm not gonna believe it's age. It's
I
people
mean,
are just not working.
that's it also, but what the thing is that if you've been in the business for a while, you make a certain amount of money. It's easier to bring in people that don't make as much.
Or know as much.
Younger. Right,
No, right.
exactly. They're hungry. I mean, like you said, they have all these what are these verticals going on. People want to get into this business. So when I was trying to get into this business, I did whatever I had to do to get in. And then I just kept pushing myself until I got to where I wanted to go. I think some of that is still going on today. And that's just with the younger people. Also with all of these conglomerates now, you know, Paramount being bought up, uh Paramount.
Netflix.
Yeah,
Right.
they're gonna everybody wants to buy Warner Brothers. So the more you consolidate, the more you don't need as many people. I mean, naturally things start changing, with AI and all these other different things that are coming in. It's just getting to a point to where it's gonna be tough. So I don't think it's ever gonna get back to where it was. And I remember a guy telling me this, and I didn't really want to believe him.
I agree. And not only do I agree, I see. But I'm gonna tell you something that because there is something in your explanation that I relate to. Some jobs go south and you work on them and you're going, "Okay, well, I'm never gonna work with those people again," and, you know, that didn't go well. When this California Incentive 2.0 came out in
Mhm.
July, "Oh, we're gonna add all this money." I took it and I copy and pasted it and put it straight into ChatGPT.
Uh,
It said that it is a financial burden on the state of California. It will never restore the 60,000 Hollywood jobs that were lost. It
right,
may bring back 4,000. It does not compete with any other state because it doesn't respect the above the line expenses. It is a hardship and it's not what it's made out to be. Last year, I was on a movie. I actually got a job. I have not worked on a movie since 2022 when I did Saw 10 out of the country in Mexico City.
right.
In 2024, I got a job uh, on a movie and I got them $2.5 million dollars of the incentive. We would have had 12.5 million. And what did they do? It's not enough money to work in LA. Give it back. They gave it back. They gave
Wow.
the money back. So when people send me, "Oh, look, 17 shows got the incentive." Right. But as a line producer, they'll turn around and say to me, "Well, if California will give us that, what's New York going to give us or Georgia or by the way, London?" When I heard that unions a year ago were giving out food to members, okay, something's horribly wrong here. And sure, we can say COVID or strikes, but like you said, AI, leaving the country, incentives better somewhere else. I have asked quite a few people to be on my podcast, and they'll say, "I gave up. I just retired. I pulled my DGA pension, and I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore." And so, it,
Yeah, I mean, those are thoughts that go through your mind. I'll be 65 in
right.
December of next year.
Well,
So,
and you sit and you think you I am telling you how many nights I spend up doing the math in my head. The pension plus Social Security plus my retirement money, my that I put away when I was a staff
Yeah.
person,
Yeah.
and you sit there and you go, "Okay, well, that's like 5,000 a month." You're like, "5,000 a month? We used to make 5,000 in 3 days."
Exactly. When you think about that, and like you said, I do the numbers too, and I've been thinking, and it's like, okay, ah, when at what point do you decide to pull the trigger? Because the longer you wait, the better it is, but you also have to live.
But
So at some
it's
point,
that
you're
same
gonna,
thing.
yeah, because I mean, you just think about it. Is what we think of as not enough money, most people aren't even making that,
Right. You
and
know,
they
"Cry me a
work.
river. You poor producer, you."
Yeah, and I mean, and I don't. I mean, I get where you're coming from, and I understand. I try to look at the bright side. I won't be bringing in the money that I did, but I'm also not going to be destitute. Then you start thinking about, what am I really going to need? Like I always tell my buddies who are my age, we're in the fourth quarter, bro. So what are you going to need in the fourth quarter? You know, and how are you going to be able to just, you know,
Live.
live
Right,
exactly?
and you're in the 4th quarter, and you're winning. At the end of the day, you're winning.
And saying all of that is that we were blessed enough to have been, I want to say, golden Hollywood, because it
Yep.
really, because I remember when I first got into business, all these old timers would tell me, "Oh man, this is nothing. This business has changed so much." And I used to
Really?
always think, like, what am I going to be telling the younger people when it comes around? In this business, if you're in the union, you're going to make some money. I mean, you got to be smart about your money, but you're going to make some money if you're working. A lot of the people that I know, like yourself, like others, that have homes that are invested, that'll get a pension. So you have to think about, this is almost the end of an era, like when we were kids first coming out, when we were told to go get a job, work 30 years, get a pension, get Social Security. But when you take away the unions, like these verticals, $150,000.
The biggest part I have a problem with is they shoot in Los Angeles. Chinese producers come over here. They are non-English speaking. They hire usually a Chinese line producer who runs the whole show for them. They pay cash or check directly to the people. There's no, not even 1099s. They pay them. And the
Wow.
city of Los Angeles gives them a permit to shoot in a city that is not a right to work state. And they are allowed to work here, hire all this talent. Then they take their little production and they run back to their country. God bless them. Aren't they smart that they came to the best place in the planet to make a production, spend nothing? But if I called up you know, Permit LA or Film LA and said, "I'd like to make a non-union production," they'd be, boom, the unions would be all over me in 30 seconds or less.
Right.
And they'd be like, we're flipping you and we're tossing you and you can't. But you don't understand. My friend goes and they're 8-day productions. They're 8 days and they're 90 pages. 90 pages in
I
8
mean,
days.
that is just
My
like,
friend shoots 15 pages a day, 12 pages a day with SAG actors who are working under the table, with DGA people who are working under the table, literally, because they need money.
listen, I need income too. Um,
I get it. I have been
yeah,
applying to conventional jobs just for fun because, yes, we're older, but we're also not tired and we're not done. We were gonna keep going until we were dead. I mean, that was it,
much.
okay? As long as we could show up, and this plan just didn't pan out. People will say to me, "What is your pivot?" And so I'm gonna ask you, what is your pivot?
For the last couple of years, I've been able to work, not
Yeah, yeah.
making what I usually make, but still probably working 4 to 5 months as opposed to 6 to 8 months. So this coming up year is going to be, I have to really think about where I'm going to be within the year. And do I decide to retire, or do I just try to keep it going for another year. We'll see how this year comes up.
Does
See,
retire mean decide to retire from the DGA and then do something else, or is that play golf?
I don't know yet.
Like,
I mean, retirement. I mean, for me, retirement always means that you're going to do something else. I just don't know what it is.
right.
But it would be to then, collect on everything that I put into it. You only get out what you put in. Because when I was in the thick of it, I always thought about, okay, what it's going to be like when I get older. And my idea would be to work to 70, right? Because I still feel young. We'll see how this year goes. See if it goes well or shitty. I've gotten some people talking to me. We'll see if any of these shows that I did last year comes back, and if they want to bring me back. And that's the other thing. Do they want to bring
Right.
you back?
And then they they make less shows and they hire different people and
Yeah.
a new showrunner comes in and they want somebody else.
So it's like I've been on both sides of that coin. I've been on the side of the coin to where somebody else has come in and they wanna bring their people in, which I can't fault them for that. And I've also been on the other side where they're maybe my people were new and they were like, "Well, we're bringing in our own people," and I was part of their crew. It's one of those things, it's like, you just gotta hope that, uh, it works out. Otherwise, you have to think about what else you're gonna do.
My last podcast was with my assistant, Devon, who we did a show for a year and a half together at Warner Brothers. He is the most wonderful man, and he was my assistant, and after we were finished, he went and worked for Mar Vista. I think he worked on Snowfall in post-production. How about that?
What's his name?
And Devon Edwards, and he moved to Dallas because he thought there's lots of work in Texas. So he's in his 50s, couldn't get any work in Texas. And this has only been over like the past year. This week, he sent me a picture. He is now a United Airlines flight attendant. Another friend of mine who you worked with, she worked in production accounting for 30 years. She is working at Nordstrom's. Um,
It's
it's
tough.
my friends are getting other jobs. I started talking because I will say it's very cathartic. There's many people like you and me that just want to talk about this because I cannot listen to another post that says it's coming back stronger than ever. Stop it. What is stronger than ever?
Yeah,
I wish. Okay.
right,
I
I think what
wish.
yeah, okay.
Last year, the vertical industry made $10 billion, billion with a B. Okay. And now studios like Sony started a vertical, and some executives, the Kardashians, have started a vertical company. Okay. But it's just pure profit because it doesn't cost them anything and they make all their money in streaming and there's no unions. They don't pay residuals, they don't pay benefits.
Right.
Okay. One of the reasons I went to Mexico City and as a line producer, I can't deny it. I made Saw 10 for $3 million. 3 million US in Mexico City was like 30 million because it's 20 to 1 is the
Right.
peso. My driver was making $120 a day for a 14-hour day. Okay? No unions, no benefits, no nothing. Fabulous crews. It makes sense when we've lost control of cost in this country and the ability to make stuff is kind of escaped. And this incredible business that we were so lucky, I have to say, so blessed that we got this journey. I fell into it. I came to California as a stand-up comedian. And boy, we had a nice ride. And so this is my pivot at this point. People go, "What are you doing with social media?" I went into it to make people like you and me feel better. And it does. I've talked to so many people. I got contacted just the past month by 2 different companies who are like, "We're gonna make your job easier. Use our software to do budgeting and scheduling AI. 1 minute, they'll take the script, break it down, give you, but I go, I have to do it by hand. You want to turn
Right.
part of our job, you and me, what we do, into AI? Here's your schedule. You'd be like, what? What are you talking about?
Right.
Time saver. Never in my life did I ever think somebody could come to me and say, I mean, just like I couldn't go to you and go, hi, first AD, here's your schedule. AI did it. Just trust it.
Right. Exactly. Because
Well,
they don't I mean,
they didn't
they're
even see
not
the locations. They're just
right,
giving
right, yeah, the idiosyncrasies that you
right.
have where you
Actor availability, locations,
exactly, brain, right,
but
so
do you
but
understand there is software being created out there now
oh,
to,
yeah,
as they
but I
say to
mean,
me, to make your
I
job
figured
easier?
yeah, I figured that was gonna happen, but I still have Movie Magic. I have Movie
Oh,
Magic
I do too.
6. I didn't move up to 10 yet, but they're
I've never
about
moved up
to
to 10. I have
yeah,
7, but
they're abo
they're out of business, so they don't service their software anymore.
yeah, who's
They're
out of
gone.
business?
Movie Magic does not service software anymore. If you have it and it goes wrong or you need it is gone. It does
On
not.
for
A
6, right? But
EP no, EP owns
EP
it, so they service it, but if you need help with they sent out an email saying, "We don't service our software anymore, we've sold it off." So it's a whole different world, and if somebody
oh, I
ever
didn't
handed
know
me
that.
an AI budget, I'd be like, "What? I can't even read the script. How are you gonna do a budget?" Like I said, I don't recognize this moment. This is, as I call it with my friends, this is like a shipwreck moment, and we're on this island going, "Where are we? What happened to our
Yeah,
business?"
when I think about that, I also think about how things just change, you
Mhm.
know?
Yep.
Everybody thought the horse and buggy was gonna be around forever, then the
Okay,
car
guess
came.
what? When you and I started, do you know that I did my first movie on in paper books? We didn't have computers.
Yeah,
We did not
I
have
did
computers.
I had
Paper
the
ledgers.
strip board.
Paper.
I still have my old strip board, the cardboard where you had to
Yeah,
write on the
yeah.
thing, yeah, I did all of that, yeah.
The colors,
Yep, the
different colors,
colors, the different
and the
colors, yep.
big board that would lay
But
out across your
I'll tell you,
table.
once I got Movie Magic on the computer, I was like, "Oh, yeah, this is way easier." Now, but it even, just breaking down a script, that's the one thing I like to do is to break it down. It takes me a couple of days. But once you do that, scheduling part becomes it's like a puzzle. You gotta figure out what you need to do. But it was so weird because this year I worked on the Varnell Hill show, which is a multi-camera show. And it's so different in that world. When the bottom line is, you know what to do as an AD, but there's just, small differences. Um, it worked for us because that small little change that we needed to learn how to do would be to do it the way the multi-camera
Multi-brand. Yeah.
ADs do it. And I learned a lot. So in doing that, I'm like, oh wow, this is a whole different world I could get into. So we'll see. You know?
I hope so, and if you need a UPM, I'm really grateful that we had this time, first of all, to catch up.
Yeah.
And, thank you so much to my guest, Wayne Witherspoon, and my dear friend, who we know each other for a long time.
Right. And
This
and
is What
nobody
the
know
Heck Next? Yeah.
right, and nobody knows me by Witherspoon,
What do
Wayne
they know you by? Spoon.
Witherspoon.
Wayne Spoon. My mother said to me, "Is he related to Reese?" And I go, "No, he
No.
is not."
You know what? Her
You
people
never
are from
know.
Alabama, so we're
Right.
from Arkansas, so you never know.
This is What the Heck Next? My name is Carrie Morrow. Life has a way of changing our plans, the ones we never thought would change.
Yeah.
Please like, follow, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, YouTube, Spotify, and more. I'm grateful for my dear guest, Wayne Witherspoon. Thank you so much for being my guest today, and I really look forward to us working together again. Thank you, my dear friend.